Nea kwachich yakana gwell shkalneekx'í wu itua sygu gwell a ide shkalneekx'í a iti a yeil qaqan gwell hoots a washayi shad wishkalneek da ejigachune gwell ya de a achji wutsu we Nechosikuwe. Wasagachtu sa slideshow. Tlingit chinach we qawak shiyik kashuk a kadishhiti. Yanti a qawak shiyik. What's tel qawak shiyik? What's kashuk a kadijhi? Adasa yituasaku qaqakwati. Yewayakhtuasaku gwalchukwa just tlingit chinach gwal shkalneekx'í wu qa tlaikiki qawe tlha in kayinik. Idet qaqtuasaku wujin aya shkagachtilnik ya chadaqa shkalneekx'í awe wutllayekh. Yijiwu ataka gwaltaik gwal.
Ejit ach sawu ach legione.
Oh, okay. That's it. You are.
Yan gechad wana ksha.
And how when they okay?
Tadgawa chasaka kaustin yeschodaqi. Taj atlashqa qahiqa sushqi qaha an qawq gursati. Qnachach tuaq sagu qulchwaq yeschodaqi. Adet allikat adwuchichiqa awatlasyan qa akhtua usnugu. Gwyllt allikat shukat sandi qa kach ulliachnati chaqastigi. Hallqasaku wasashduk qadanugu. Hallqachtasaku wasakudishtaj wunayi. Jaan qa qashade hanikhwasti akhtuayati. Jaan wasad wunay tidakqa. Tlashqanakhatwa ashkudama vihan qawq gursati. Ajqawa kawastin yesqotaqi. Ishan uhan. Tlashqanakh katin tushqwaat. Gojwaqch kudishta qahayis. An qadak atsku Valerie. Huj.
Kulchish. Kahulidzi aya. Kahulidzi. Yewa wush kanachuti da at ya hayuk atunki da. Aqa away ya. Aya khukh aya akakh aya khwatu. Wasaya ya waqa we qujwaq. Yewa qone adat aya. Wush qautil atin. Wasa qone we linguistic emergency da. Yewa Asuin kakhwaniki ya akhtandatani da. Gagakwati Gwal Yea Waka Way Alaska and Kawu Aya Ate Hanai Kashke at the way was you cut cow the high a day you cut cow the high ye chuchak Kash a yak uti a day has to la adiye wait let Hashagun Kash a yak uti konachaway has to ye jene was a Katlazini at a yash the cut with Yukatunki where Alaska cook a gawe Khwatu the Haydach aya a data ya Yutakhutum was a Katlazini ka away her Chakut ka away gwash has a yanach aya has to Wushatzin has the Haydach aya wakai was Tashasa a yanach Shia dehini a Wushkanach wutu da adi way the cut ya Tlingit ka with Kunana ka Adats ka cut sewa kakwe Supiat Gayakwaka Ya AFN Shia dehini a Kashia dehini a the Chankisani ka Hayat ka Wuhan ka Shuka a has Ausatin Haslatin Gwashwe Kashuk Takaya Tunach Wash a ka Kuyau da Hai Kut Yakuk a ka away a daki to Khwatangwasa Wasa Yake Yewe Gwash Yis a Kekakwasti Dich de Nejikach to Neko Ashkwa Gwash Dich Disi Shukwahi a ka Kash Wushdach Kakwakek do Yejane a way Yis governor. A joy Yidata Yahatu Wasagu Kedana ya Wutusaku Data Tinach Sahayati. Yewe has to in Kachwanik what Gwashi to Wasagu we Kegurtlatin which the Katbe Yukatunki Alaska Kach. Shia dehini a just the cut a dutki ka yis sha is ka yis sha shkun klein a tunach aya has yakwa art a joe het wasaka kwati kwas dark jin kat aya ye kuge away the cut has to a studel tu wu yek kwas take a kwa Alaska native Yukatungi Hatuasaku just take a schoon tunach, take a schoon claim tunach. Aka Yewe Hatuasaku Ka we Council of Alaska Native Languages Hatuasaku Kegurchlitzin Keka Aya Yekuge Hayukatungi which the cut way Alaska Kach at we Keka Kaku Hatuasaku we Nadak Yach Kini Ye Awahatuati. One Konins Echosaku Wanach Sawe Ye Jaku Dak Sati Owe Uhan What Tlingit What Atna What Sukpiak One Konins Teshwuj in Tush Hatush An Clank just ha ayi haja yes ayayata Teshach Tua Ashkuko Wushtin aya khnakhoi gartutlaq. Wushtin. Yewe hatu wasagu kal asa dakuskiti. Kal hatu wasku ashko hasti tu aya khnakhoi with the tuni. A joy eighty gartune wushtin. Naqawi wasat qwane hashwutusko. Neko akwas isat gartutle shkun hayuqtangi tin. Ya Maori ka Hawaiian ka Sami akhlati. Ka uhansu. Gwasha tuasagu katwe shkun atunakhaya yadu ati yadugu like a yawaguti. Gwasling tunach yewe hatuwit. Gastena ina tunach yewe hatuwit. Gwasinu biak tunach yewe hatuwit. Yewe adat yutakhwatan. Gwas hesh zi a joet in kat katek aya wa akhti aya kutzati has to yukatangi tin havai. Ya stikat has to qati kach das tek aya katang kutzati ju chab. Wuhan ko teka. Hesh wasa o teko. Wuji neje gartune. Gwas yizataya gartutla yech just the kata yukatangi tin. Just the kata yukatangi kage yes. Aqa away gwash wushe gartu steen. Wasa atqakwane. Yewe achtundetani yat adat ganchish.
Ganalchish.
Yatatsu achjiu Ruch shkalneekx'í. Yangeewane llaqtu'u tuagesigu. Oh, okay. Shukwaha. Guk.
Guch askutu de wugut. De ityan heni aga disk kaguakan kushi. Yayagi kua gach kunach de tuwasigu. Gusuwa wekach yu akawajik. Wekach chukan has achech. Gwashtai tuk yeyati. Hastu a kua u. Wekach. Chukan tunach wudziget. Gach ga kushi. Ha! Khatin wekach. Ye ausika. Weguch. Gach kat. Shwudliqaz. Ach et yake. Ye ausika.
Yak echa we gunnel cheese. Yak shkalneekx'í aya. Chosatin hastsu. Qach has uchait we. Ich was a kuhn. Ja a khuni nadasha hini gwas natasa hini. Ya wa yaku gwas du galtu atunach yuch atutli atki atten. A kausha hit we koyaw da hai. Ya tag a ya ha kunach away late. The cut has to ani kach kunach katlan away with late. Ya Konachawe de Yachaya Akawa Chakachawe Akawa Khasnuch we Glate de Akach Kadua Khasi at Akawe Ausatin that de Yekta Yakonachawe and the Shikach do eat Hoa do it Hayakonach in the Shicht Hoa Yausanak Kuch Ayat Tash Jayuk Genki Yeks Genki a joy tlechwas a coon. qaqa ya hasakhan ya qanakh wasayana lle haslu waguq ya qaqa we talli tuashku nahi ya wa qa kaltigenach ya wuquq ka akawshit anani sawe we qaqa qawa aq saknachte wushi walya we qatlani tleita qanakh haqtawsne saknachte wushi gawe kuh kunakhoi to cut a ya jim de good to qatlai huj zidane away our jaq yakhas kuwet yak gunil cheese Sukke.
Okay. Chak oe. Shuch asibi. Aga we cell phone. Just jokes. Dis yaki yawachi. Khat would zikit. Kunna khat would dikwet. Klik klauk shua chich. Ha aus a kuwun huch away edach Tlingit. Ja yi dat Tlingit. Agaduch tuch kuchida kuchwashi kechwat we tlak kudashchit not like we ti tlak kudashchit ya kakain kudatsi kudatsi kechwati how wrong ti tlak kadushchit auditu klinge Tlingit uchoe
Yak hawe gunil cheese kakhalach yak gol ito gesagu ki dash ikhi tachai so yak ya we achtu asagu we kuch klein aya kakwasha yech we Google kuchu radio sak akawuchi na ya kaktutu helwasa konego kuchusani itu agesagu akach aya akaishihiti helwasa kokwati wuchin achtu asagu kakatutla ati katashkalniki da ya qanakh yake awe ade yisha yekhie ya achtu klqayikach cheese Sukke was play who oh today
de khadnu chesach
Jit achki so woods yak
University Shashtu Quasiti Anchorage 2013 ach eat yan uaha khat ye khwaqa gudesa yan khwagut at kahidi de khwagut neildach ya kuati tlashlushke kunach kusi at yati adcha hidi de chwagut. Tleit da gwsitan cwnach. Hell chwatin ya dei. Ach yu chatut atgi at ach jiwu. Ach tla kach anik ya kwati. Ka ach shaltuwu ka UAA Christi ya dleit kutligat yan khushi chade khatna yan khushi khwasigu hel khwasigu ya verb gwell a gate chwagat.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to check. Yeah, a
Gate-
gate hookup usually means like you met someone, but like walk right into it. Yeah.
A gate chwagat gwell ya chadu da ke kushunasgain. Chadu da ke kushunasgain. Zisk city or Zisk city. Chade ye chatna ye chwacha. Ach tlakan anik ziyagan. Huchaya.
Yak echa we gunchish. Yak Johan. Wasa yak ya. Adesh shkalneekx'í ye. Gunchish ha. Yak Tsuk ke gwell tle hooch. Okay, so how is it going, like putting stories together as an exercise? Let's just chat about that for a little bit.
Yak echa Tlingit shkalneekx'í kashachit. Ach tuasigu Tlingit edach conversation. Was to do a sock difficult.
Ichitzi or yetik.
Ichitzi Tlingit yuchatangi whoosh Tlingit yuchatangi with other people.
Itzi awe kain you
Itzi
li atki. Gwash ya Tlingit einach tsu gwash li tuasagu yatakach. Llidzi awe kain yuch adutle atki. Tlingit chenach. Gwashtle ka chenach. It's hard to have conversations with people. Yeah, kodach just da sa dot. Yeah, what? And so this is something that we can talk about in sort of the realm of language revitalization. Is there's this thing called a domain, and then there's a thing called a register. And so a lot of language revitalization involves domains and registers at this very practical level. So a domain is a physical or social space where the language will be used. And then the register is the language needed to bring it into that domain. For example, if we wanted to play pool, billiards in Tlingit, we would have to like figure out how to say some things. Hockey, or we want to be able to, and it could be subject matters too. Like, I would really like to talk about training a dog in Tlingit, so like sit, roll over, fetch, shake, and would have to think about all these different things and how to teach habits in terms of or raising kids, all this stuff. And so it's considered a domain. So it's not even like it could be a physical place, but it's more of the physical space and also what happens there. And then the register means we got to figure out how to talk about this stuff. So we got to figure out the language we're going to use to bring in here. And this became clear to me when we do these immersion activities. And there's not much that's more Tlingit than everybody going outside and cutting fish. Like, we're going to go cut fish. And as soon as we went to cut fish, we switched to English. Because we don't know how to talk about cutting fish. In the not collectively. And I'm not saying like the elders don't know how, because they know how. But they're telling us that we don't know those words. That is a verb which means to remove the guts of a fish. That's the only time that it's used, is when you're gutting a fish. Is to remove the inside of a shellfish, like especially a clam or something, right? So there's special terms that go into those areas. So one thing that we can do as advanced learners who are, mastering these resources that are out there, still have access to speakers, is to say, let's create a little guidebook, how to collect shellfish, clams, cockles, gumboots in Tlingit. So what do you need to know how to say? Dig it up. There's one there. I see it spitting. What kind is this? And then you're going to have to know the names of all these different things. Pry it open, wash it off. There's all these different things that you have to figure out. So, and then when it comes to conversation, it's related, because you say, hi, how are you? How's the weather? Right? And now we want to be able to do, no matter what it is. So you could say, we Steph Curry. Right, so you could do that kind of, start and teasing and talking, so that you could sort of, what they talk about is you go from memorization to being able to express your feelings, to being able to talk about things in sort of like complex time. So you start saying, in the future, in the past, getting into a little bit of speculation. Oh yeah, this might happen. And then you're getting up into the highest level for Tlingit, and for most languages, has to do with theories, abstractions, and then being able to recite these large chunks of cultural information. And so mixed in with all of that is just day-to-day conversational stuff. And so this kind of stuff helps, but there's just a real need to create that space. Like, I think there should be a space in every community where people know if they go there, they're going to speak the language. That would be great. You just walk through the door as soon as you step on the property, right? There's got to be something that shifts. And so that's what the Hawaiians did with their aha punana leo. It's like, anybody could come in, but you're going to speak Hawaiian in here, or you just be quiet. And so we've got to establish those spaces too. And, to be honest, like when we took a group to Fred Meyer, and we shopped in Tlingit, and we made these little handouts for people that said, we're not being rude, we're just trying to stay in Tlingit in this immersion environment. see what it'd be like. And the ones we had the hardest time with were like people's friends and relatives, right? And a lot of them were Tlingit people. We're like, well, you can talk to me, because they might get offended. And I understand there could be lots of hurt feelings about feeling like you're left out, feeling like you don't have this opportunity. And so we're trying to sort of balance that by saying, oh yeah, we'll grant this, we'll give this opportunity to everybody. We'll do our best, and we'll say, anybody can learn it, but it's hard too, because there's a lot of people who have negative feelings, maybe not directly towards some of them, directly towards the language, but others it's just there's guilt, there's shame, there's all this other stuff. But then we just want to make sure, so we're able to have those conversations. And what I'd highly encourage you guys to do is when you see each other, just try to challenge each other. Let's go as long as we can. Let's just start doing it, right?
Yeah.
shkalneekx'í.
Shkalneekx'í, Uchi nakakakut, teachers itinach, maybe the third. I'm trying to put together some teachers, and then trying to get a worksheet together so that we can have some phrases and words.
Oh, yeah, okay.
For people, and it doesn't have to be just Tlingit. I invited like Susie and all them, and Alfie Price, and so I think the third is what I was gonna say. But if other days work better for others who want to go, then I'll just help organize and ask for help on the worksheets so people can have words or phrases that are common when picking. And so if people want to let me know which weekends work better for them, I'm trying to get as much teachers as I can. I asked I got to ask Naklan. I asked Sekut. She said she was able to. Daljini said she might be able to one of those weekends. And so whatever best works, I think, for the teachers and the most students.
Guksa?
Maybe the third.
Guksa.
Eagle Crest. That's the other thing too, is that wherever is most accessible for people. I feel like around here might be the easier, but Eagle Crest, I think, is also good, but it's also a long drive.
Gastro Meadows. It's like really quick hike up, or really quick like walk from the road. You can park, and then it's like all muskegs on either side.
Okay. Dichga. Ja, Guka at shkalneekx'í. Ja, ach, yeti. Dichga aya. Du ika kwallatu. Yeah, my kids got hockey, but we're done at 2.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Other folks, any feedback, thoughts? And hopefully you all get a chance to share a story. I think we got most everybody. And it could be really short. It could be about anything you want. But I just want us to make sure we're having opportunities and obligations to do these language performances. So this will be like basically our kind of midterm. It's not something graded, but it's something that I'd like to create a document where we can all look at it and make some maybe comments if we want to, and we can have a dialogue about the Google Doc that shows all these stories. And then we can also hopefully share them and use them. I've been trying to just look at a variety of different things, like little flip books and all kinds of little things to just try and think of how do we just keep making things so that we can put these things out there as well. So those are fun conversations to have. So last chance, any other thoughts, ideas?
One thing I found really valuable was going through the layer verb notes and kind of seeing the different intricacies of the subtleties of how verbs can change so subtly, and kind of telling what the difference was between with different prefixes and different how you can just change verbs and it can just have an entirely different meaning.
Yeah, right. And you could just put like something in front of it, or you could change one of the prefixes, and they're super dynamic, you know. And so Shauna Kate has a good idea, and there's a good idea that's kind of developed through this conversation. So why don't we say, maybe 2 weeks from now or so? Yeah, let's say in 2 weeks. Let's spend the weekend and think of a domain. Like, for example, and it's got to be kind of specific. Because the domain, you can't say harvesting foods, because it's just too big. But you could say going out for shkalneekx'í, right? And just keep it really specific. So think of an activity, and then think of, you're going to make a little, we'll make little handbooks. So you can say how to go picking shkalneekx'í and Tlingit, how to go coach basketball in Tlingit, how to carving, how to talk about carving in Tlingit. And so beading, weaving, there's tons of stuff. And it doesn't always have to be like, oh, let's think of the most Tlingit activity. Like it could be anything, bowling, right? It could be, where do you want to take the language? I want to go shopping in the language. Okay, so what do we need to be able to do that? And then I think, regardless of where you're at, well, I mean, I guess it can't be regardless, because if there's no other learners there, but it would be neat if we just sort of did more stuff as a language community. I really appreciate you trying to get folks out in groups. And I think it would be good to sort of say, not everybody has to go, but everybody buys groceries. Let's pick a grocery store in a day and a time to say, hey, if you're available, let's go shopping in Tlingit on, Saturday, or Costco on Sunday. Get all the snacks, do whatever, right? So that, ideally the language community starts sort of developing it'd be neat if we had sort of a shared like schedule somehow, or some way to just sort of broadcast this stuff. I know there's been talk about sort of a radio program. Shauna Kate says how to dig clean clams. Great. IE. So Shauna Kate is taking clam digging and cleaning. Okay. All right. Any other thoughts or ideas? I thought we'd drill some Tlingit verb stuff. I think we started going through this one. I don't know if we went through the whole thing. And then we could take a look at one of those 2 stories we've been going through. I think next week we'll also return to the Elan conversation we were kind of working on. Although I think what I'll do with those, I'll try and put them into a folder and share the folder with you guys so you can download them and work on them on your own. So as we're going through them, you're just telling me what you've already figured out, and it should go a little bit faster. And so that'll be sort of these are our once you hit November, you got to start thinking about how you're going to wrap up a semester. And so for us, we're going to think about like what are the big projects. And so these little handbooks would be wonderful. And then we can either compile it, or we can just have these little it'd be neat to make these little flip books, right? Like spiral bound, heavier kind of paper or something. And it's just how to do blank in Tlingit. Okay. And then next semester, we could do either Advanced Tlingit 2 or Tlingit Oral Literature. Anybody got a preference? we'll do mostly the same stuff. But
I think it'd be cool to continue this class.
keep this one going. Okay.
Well, do you have any idea what Tlingit oral literature would look like?
So Tlingit oral literature, what we do for that is we basically we get together and we listen to Tlingit speakers who are doing either an oral performance or a story, and then we talk about it in Tlingit.
That'd be really cool.
So we could do that, but we'll keep doing lessons and stuff like that. But it's kind of neat to transition to a content, because then, like most language classes, at some point they stop teaching the language and they start teaching through the language, and that's the goal with that class. And so the last time we ran it was entirely, I think it was like 80-90% in Tlingit, and so it's pretty fun. So we listen to stuff, and then we usually got a handout that has the translation for us, but we're just listening to it in Tlingit. shkalneekx'í says oral literature. And I know oral literature helps people with, we've got folks who get degrees here, and some of their degree requirements are an upper level literature class, and this counts as an upper level literature class. Even folks who are getting a degree in English. So that's pretty cool.
I like that class idea.
Tlingit literature. Yeah, for a degree in English.
Okay, so I'll change it to that one, but we'll keep doing. It'll be similar, except we'll just, and then our goal will be to talk about storytellers and talk about how to do basically a biography in Tlingit, to talk about somebody like Danawak, Natla, or shkalneekx'í, and then also to tell stories, to be able to tell stories. And whether we're talking about just, hey, this funny thing happened the other day, or some of these big sort of pieces of literature. And we have tons of recorded Tlingit. So you could also pick something and go for it. Like we're going through these tapes in Teslin and just looking at the notes as far as what were on them. There's a story about like a giant bug that they had to kill. I'm pretty sure there's that giant rat story somewhere. Someone's probably got that one recorded. They had to kill that one, and then there was a huge fight afterwards. Why was there a big fight? Anybody know? Over the hide of the giant rat, right? Then it ended up getting lost because people got in a huge fight. So there's lots of stories that are out there that are probably, because the one thing, like sort of looking at the art community and looking at the storytelling community around Tlingit people, is are we always making the same thing and are always telling the same stories? Because there's so much there. So that maybe our mission is just to try and find some new ones that we can sort of work on. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we end up like making a little book of them or something. You know, this is how that stuff starts. So, okay. Okay, well, let's talk about just more stuff about a Tlingit verb, and just, you know, continuing to stress how this stuff generally works. And some of this is probably repetition, but repetition is good. So the first thing is, you know, I like to have fun with thinking about a Tlingit verb, because it's like a big monster, but then the monster's cute, right? And then I really like what, kakwaaq yakkutlaq. I'm going to try, I'm going to succeed. Kakqiaq yakkitlaq. You're going to try, you're going to succeed. I cannot stress enough how important it is to use this language as much as humanly possible. Like just all the time. Walk around, talk to yourself, talk to people who will listen to you, because you just burn these new pathways in your brain, right? And then there's a whole bunch of this information which is very highly structural, and sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense, but when you just keep using it and hearing it and listening, and speaking. Your brain and your subconscious and your spirit and that spirit world all put that stuff together for you. It happens, right? And then Tlingit, she said, Tlingit. You improve it by using the Tlingit language. Kechne and Huayinak both talked a lot about why it's important to push yourself in Tlingit. Because one of the theories that they had was that they felt Tlingit was going to survive, but everybody was going to talk like 7-year-olds. We're going to lose that upper echelon, that high level of Tlingit, which, some people will call it the old-timey Tlingit, or they've got these terms for it. And so we want to make sure that we understand what that stuff is, and that some of us will be able to go into that realm. So the Tlingit verb is really made up of the preverb, object, thematic, conjugation, subject, classifier, stem, sometimes a postverb. I guess I forgot it from this one. But there will always be a stem and a classifier in a verb. There always will be one. Sometimes there'll be a subject, sometimes there'll be an object, sometimes there'll be both. If the verb has it, you cannot remove it without changing the verb. If the verb doesn't have it, you cannot put them in there without changing the verb. And there are some stems in the whole verbs that don't have objects or subjects. And so it's just something we've got to keep in mind, because once it's there, we can't remove it. In between the object and the subject, you have the thematic, which some verbs have them, some verbs don't. But if you put a thematic prefix onto something, you've made a whole new verb. And there are probably thousands of undocumented verbs where a thematic prefix has been added, right? And I don't know, maybe you can just add them to any, I don't know. Because then sometimes we'll hear them, we're like, oh, okay. Like, tukhada'a has the ba'u built right into the verb. And so there can go body parts, there can be other things. And we'll talk about how that really works. But in between the thematic and the subject, this is where the conjugation prefixes come up. So if you put the verb into different modes, you're usually going to do most of your work right there in that conjugation spot. The perfective is there, the arealis is there, the modal markers are there, and the conjugation prefixes are there. That's pretty much all there is. But there's going to be some combination of those things, and that's going to move it between mode. So we think about the object is one of the first things we start learning how to manipulate and just keep thinking about, because it kind of sits right on the very front of the verb. It's one of the first things. It affects the way that the verb contracts. The prefix has a lot of contraction that goes on. And then there's only so many things that you can really pick from. There's another one on here that we don't talk about that much, which is ush. So ush is a pronoun that you'll see. Is another pronoun that you'll see. I guess, we could pull the curtain back on those a little bit. So what is ush? So if I said ashya waqa, how does that help?
Ush is the kind of the protagonist of the story.
Yes, the main character. It's this person we've been talking about. So ashya waqa would be she or he told that guy that we've been talking about, right? Or ashya waqa, how it should be. I put an object in a verb that doesn't have an object. So that's what the ush is. What about ah? So I could say ishq, yach ayati. So what the ah is as an object is some of them. Some of them are blue, right? And so this is, you're going to see the ah pop up now and then, like achu ah means some of them. And whenever you see those chita, gucha, hita, it's just jumped to the other side of the verb for some reason. But it's usually an object. So you could say, yausaka. He or she told some of them. But we don't see those that much, so we don't stress them. You know, sort of like we put the focus onto these ones because these are the ones that you're going to see and use the most. Chat, ha, yi, ka, at, and chush, or sh. There's a couple of errors on this. Dang it. Ha and yi and ka should not have a hyphen after them. So I'll fix that. But we put a hyphen after it if we say attaches to the verb. The other ones, they come before the verb, but we write them as a separate word, right? And so when we say yichsaku, yi is its own word, and then chsaku is its own word. Okay. And then ka or k is people or someone, and then at is something. And at has a lot of, it can affect the meaning quite a bit. So adana, she or he is drinking it. Atdana, she or he is drinking alcohol, boozing it up. Right? So sometimes it has specific meanings. We say like atsaku. That's how you say sex in Tlingit. I remember because, like I said, achtu sagu, something, something, and Eller's like, what did you say? I was like, achtu. I was like, oh, okay. But you said atsagu. I was like, what's that? She said sex. I was like, oh, that is not what I said. Right? And so, but then the at, you'll see also, it pops up to sometimes knock the object out of certain verbs. So you could say, shtuchaltu, I'm studying it. Then we should either know what it is or you should name it. Tlingit shtuchaltu, I'm studying Tlingit. Dilqis shtuchaltu, I'm studying sewing. Whatever, you're studying whatever it is, you're studying it. Shtu'atchaltu, I'm studying, right? Similar sort of thing. You say, atchacha, I'm eating. Chacha, I'm eating it. And then you might name what the thing is. So the at here also sometimes just puts the verb into this just doing the thing type of a use. We also see there's other forms of at, like the possessive form sometimes, and you'll see it used for specific things. Or shaki at, shukach at I becomes shukach adi. So it's in a lot of the clan names. It's just a very powerful set of pronouns. And so those are the independent versions, but this one is the object.
What's that? How is that adi was people of, but it's contraction.
Things of. So you'd say dak shel at, and it becomes dak chawedi, the things of that inland sand. And so you'll see, and the other thing with at is whenever you have yi, which is below, plus at, and it's some compound, you're going to get yedi. And so you'll see that in a bunch of clan names, shayet, sate. So a lot of times when a vowel comes in direct contact with this sa and at, gets you sate. And it's just something that happens, right? There's a few of these sort of things where you're just like, I don't know, it just happens. When the E, like te or sheo, when that contracts in a compounding way, so when Tlingit compounds, it's like word, word, word. all of them go short. The vowels go short and low, except for the last one. And what happens is if it's an E or an EI, a lot of times it'll change to an A. So this is why eo becomes ow. And you'll see it in place names. Like if there was a sandy point, it might be called ow. And if there's a rocky point, te and ka, it's going to become ta. It's going to change to an A. I don't really know why, but that's just what it does. Okay. But those are the objects. So again, keeping these sort of lists. I don't know. I don't think I gave you cards. I'll make some cards and I'll give them out here and I'll get your guys' address and send them to you. I think I've probably said this before. Everybody probably thinks I'm just a liar. But I'll get them out. I think I sent them out before. Maybe I did. Maybe I'm a yada chunka. So let's take a look at how the object changes. All right, so here we've got being good. All right, good stuff. So here we got the object, you can see it. So now I'll say this and y'all repeat. Khatyake.
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 Hayake.
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 Iyake.
Yake.
Iyake.
Yake.
Iyake.
Yake.
Iyake.
Yake.
Yaki. Yake.
Yake.
Hayake.
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 Atyake.
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 Hasyake.
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 Did you have a thought?
Check.
Okay. There's a couple of things is with the ka, it seems to me it's going to be k a lot of times unless there's a k that refers to the weather. Because there are two k prefixes. One means people, it's an object. One means some sort of given space. It's a thematic. And so it can get a little confusing. But you can't have both of them. You can't have kudziti for people exist. You have to say ka kudziti, right? So it's interesting because there's just some little side rules to learn. Like this one, it's a thematic prefix, which is a separate spot than the object. But if it becomes k, you can't have that other k. It's just one of these sort of things. Okay. Any questions about that? All good? So now let's take a look. We're going to keep this as a third person subject. So this last one is, most state verbs just have objects, right? So now you know how to say this, so now you could say it's strong, it's weak, it's stinky, it's smart, it's all these different things that use these object pronouns. Now you can just start gobbling up a whole bunch of those. Khatlakudzi, ishlakudzi, yishlakudzi, khatyanik, hasyanik, hayanik, right? Hayanik, right? But now, so here's one. Sechan is going to be the verb itself. He or she loves, and we're going to change that object on the outside. So repeat after me. Chetzachan.
Chetzachan.
Hasachan.
Hasachan.
Isachan.
Isachan.
Yisachan.
Isachan.
Asachan.
Asachan.
Chusachan.
Chusachan.
Atsachan.
Atsachan.
Asachan.
Asachan.
But in this case, we see the third person. If they're both third person, the object will be a, right? And this is one that we've got to keep in mind. There's a bunch of verbs that just have kind of a locked-in third person pronoun. Planting it. There's telling it, like a shkalneekx'í. That one, it's almost always third person, right? Unless you're going to tattle on somebody, then it could switch to being them. Shkalneekx'í, I'm going to tell on you. So then in the thematic, you can have up to 3. There's 3 spots there. And so one is it's pretty common to have 1. It's not so common to have 2, and it's very rare to have 3. Shaking your finger, I think. Shkalneekx'í. I think they're both, I think that's it. Maybe it's shkalneekx'í. I think it's shkalneekx'í. I don't know. But they're all in there. You got the finger and the tip, the head of it, and the horizontal surface. They're all in there. And all the thematics, they all mean something. They're either some kind of body part or they have some kind of meaning, right? So for example, and this is just very common ones. There's a whole bunch of them. Zeosh has them all written down. He's got this verbal structure handbook. If you haven't seen it, get it, look at it. He's got another thing called Tlingitology, I think he calls it. Read it. It scrambles your brains because it's very complex stuff. But it's just good to dabble into that world because it shows you a lot of different stuff and how he's made all these charts that really show us a bunch of awesome stuff. But we got to learn how to read those charts. But in the meantime, just sort of there's 3. On slot number 1, the first one we might encounter on the outside, the front of the verb, there's which relates to a space, like kudziti, kuwake, right? And so we'll hear it quite a bit. And then we'll talk about that as well. And there's some really fun stuff about that. Out here you also have ka, which is comparing something. Usually if you have ka, you're also going to have the irialis, which is why you say like, ye ku ge, but that fish was this big, ye ku ge, right? And then, and you can have ka and ka. You can have 2 of them. Kakaushati, it's the boat is going up and down on the waves because it's sort of compared to probably where the horizon is. That boat is going up and down. On the second slot that you would encounter, you have j, which is a hand, t, inside a closed container, sa or se, which is a voice or the base of the neck right here, shl, which is a nose or a point of land or a beak, da is around. It could be body, but it's usually almost always around when it's in a verb. Ka, or ka, which is a mouth. And I was having a discussion with, maybe we'll look at this next week. When is it ka? I don't know, but I grabbed all the ones that I could find just to sort of look at them. There is this pattern of shka and the DL, the L plus D classifier, which has to do with pretending. So like ush, but that one has ush to get. And so I don't know. Anyways, we'll look at that next week. Sh is the head of something or the top. Sh is the end of something. And then we call it athematic. And what that does is it puts the focus on the action. It's only used in a few, not very many verbs, but fishing. All the fishing verbs a lot of them seem to have it. Adzikeiwu, to fish with a net, and asteich, fish with a hook. There's a lot of body functions that have it. This is the one it's used for burping, farting, pooping, peeing. I don't really know why, but it's used for the sun shining and stormy. And then on the third one that you might encounter, you have 2 variations of ka. It has to be one or the other. And you just sort of, the logic reveals itself. It's either spherical or round or a horizontal surface. And then ya is the vertical surface. Although you can have ka and ya. There. I'll have to look at that again. So let's look at some examples of how this stuff gets used. So the difference between, or the first one here, we're looking at khu, and how this sort of, we'll look at one without it and with it. So we've heard both of these verbs. Everybody say yak-a,
Yake.
uwak-a.
Okay.
So he, she, or it is good, and then the weather is good. Yati,
Iti.
kudziti.
Iti.
Right, so to be and then to exist. It's different. Achwuha.
Ahuha.
He, she, or it disappeared. And atkuwaha.
Atkuaha.
The time came. It arrived, basically. And then we've got the ka with the irialis. Yagay.
Yake.
Yekugay.
Yekuge.
Sikak.
Hawk.
Yeksikak.
Sikak.
Nashle.
Nashe.
Yekunashle.
Yekunashe.
So that's how, and so the one that nashe is pretty, it's a little different because the na pops up in it, I don't. And teshya nashle means it's not far, but it also can mean almost.
Why isn't it? If ka is compared to, why is ye kunashe not ye kanashe?
Oh, because it gets the irialis in there too.
That's right. Okay.
So usually you're going to get ku. That's why it's yekuge. And when you hear people say it's small, they'll say yekusegink. And sometimes it turns into a GU. Yegusegink.
But you wouldn't catch that necessarily from listening. You'd have to kind of like, by hearing that you might be like, oh, relating to space. It's a kind of a false.
Well, for this one with the ka and the it's something that you probably maybe don't catch until once you get the pattern though, you'll start to hear it. You'll start to see it too.
Sheesh.
And the difference is between saying it's big and you're saying, like they'll say, we have lots of houses. But if I name them all for you, I might say, that's how many houses we have. So it's sort of like, the one is just saying lots or big or whatever. Because yage can mean lots or big. But when I say yekuge, I mean, I've already specified, right? So you could say he's tall, or you could say he's like as tall as this thing. That's what
The difference between fish are big and these fish are big, or this particular fish.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and so you'd say gay would be for it's a plural for those fish are big, or like ton, hustlagay, but you could say ton, and then if I sort of went like that, then I would put the k. Okay, so here's some other examples from these other prefixes. So you have j, and from that you can get ye jine. Tu, you get ye to a tongue, or whoops, you to a tongue. From sa or se, a sewa ach. And so this is one, like a lot of folks when they're learning, they'll say, khatiya achke. But that would be like, do you hear me walking around? Not like, can you hear my voice? Right, so what was it, Verizon? Khatiya achke. Right, can you hear me? But you're talking about your voice. Because if you say khatiya achke, that means like I'm trying to be quiet, but you can hear me tiptoeing around. I don't know why I'd ask that. Sh, shuwashash. The point of something to be worn down. Da, ye adaya ka. To say a certain thing right now. Right? For the ka or ka, yu chayatunk. He or she is speaking. For sha, a shawachich. She or he clubbed him or her it on the head. For shuwahi. And that's, it ran out, it's over. That's also used for how time to pass. 2 years have passed. Then I might sort of tell you some story that happened 2 years ago. But shuachich could also mean like for somebody to die. Because it means, literally means ran to its end. And then ash'eich. Ash'eich. Well, this is one, I would predict that the can go out of there if we specified a certain type of dance. For example, I could say, awach'eich. He or she danced. Yek uti wuch'eich. Then the falls off. We get this same pattern in hunting. Awach'um. Zisk u'shum. So the falls off when you specify what it is. So you'd say awach'it, and then brick, wuch'it, right? So, what is it? Poop a brick? I don't want to say the other one. Okay. So here's spherical or horizontal, and also the vertical. So you got to throw something, a rock maybe. That's not to throw a person, because you gotta use a different verb.
Maria?
Yeah, this would be like throwing just a compact object, a rock, something that's not round. Because if it's round, and then awachash. He or she cut it. But then to cut it up, a kawachash. Then we see the on as a root means kind or pleasant. There's a phrase, there's 2 ways I've heard it said. Cha'aninach and cha'ankunach. And it means be nice. It's a very short command form for do what, and you can, I think you could use it like, I don't know, we were asking, like, say you had a little kid, and sometimes kids are real rough with animals. They're not mean, they're just like pounding on the dog or pulling its hair. You say, "Chaninach," and then that's telling it real quickly to do it gently, kindly. But here's the on, so if we go nice on the inside, we get niceness. Nice on the face, we get attractive. Tusha'an. Yaksa'an. And those both take objects, right? So you could say itusha'an, you're nice. That's kind of fun. The command form for this is ituksha'an. And I say that and my kids laugh because I think they're like, nice, my butt is going to be nice. I was like, no, not ituk. I was like, ituksha'an, because it's a ga conjugation. And it's going to pop in right there. It takes an object, right? Sort of like, what's the command form for be good? Anybody know? So state verbs tend to be ga conjugation. So that ga has to pop up there. It takes an object. So that's got to pop up as well. So you're going to say igake. Igake. Be good. And this is why they'll say iklatsin, right? Be strong. Because if it's got the sla in there, ga plus sla plus sin. So it plus ga plus sla plus sin, you're going to get ikla, right? So then we get the subjects, right? And there's fewer subjects than objects because you don't have all these other, the ush and the and there's a few other, the ut. You don't have those, right? It's got to be I, we, you, y'all, she, here, it, or someone, right? Those are your only options. So as we look through these, so then ha, tu, ye, the 0 and du. So if we look at that, so now the third person is going to be locked into the object. So we're going to take turns just loving this person. That's how we are. Chasachan.
Chasechan.
Tusachan.
Chasechan.
Isachan.
Isachan.
Yisachan.
Isachan.
Asachan.
Asachan.
Dudzachan.
Isachan.
Hasachan.
Asachan.
So then we make this little note for the du is all non-zero classifiers must go plus D. So it must always go dudle or dudze or dudje. All the zero classifiers must be minus D. So this will change verbs. It'll push them plus D, or it'll push them minus D, or it'll keep them from going that way. So it's just something to remember. You can't do da, you can't do sa, you can't do da, and you can't do sha. You cannot do those, right? And then that's when you get into the future, it'll always get interesting because the future form, so a future form is always going to be minus I, and any verb that is plus D and minus I will have no vowel. Right? So this is where you're going to get shkalneekx'í. I'm gonna lie. Right? Or whatever you're gonna do. Okay. So again, so here's a different verb. So for this cutting it, there's usually a third person there, but we're usually not ever changing the object. Because maybe if you're going to talk to that potato, I'm going to cut you, potato. Because cutting people it's a different verb for cutting people. It's for like knife wounding people. So you don't, and same with burning. Like to say I burned myself. It's a different burn. There's a whole burning verb for like to wound yourself. But if you want to, I don't know. Next weird movie, but wachash. Utu wachash.
Tuchash.
Yichash.
Ichash.
Yichash.
Yichash.
Awachash.
Awachash.
Utu wachash.
Uduachash.
Has awachash.
Asawachash.
And then we come back to the classifier, we just keep thinking about this thing. It's going to move back and forth, minus I, plus I, regularly. And when it goes plus I, it's like you're turning a switch on. And you're just signaling that the verb it happened. That's what plus I signals. Minus I means it didn't happen. And almost all the verb modes are saying it didn't happen. Right? Even if there's certain act verbs that might be happening right now, or there's just certain ones, and some of them they're just really interesting how they deal with plus I and minus I. Or just keep an eye on it as you encounter verbs. It's just one more thing to look at. Hey, what's the classifier doing? Oh, cool. Hey, which group is it? Okay. And then plus D and minus D. Usually for middle voice, like, I'm going to do this thing to myself. Or, I'm also affected by this thing. Or if you're going to kick the object out for certain verbs, right? So like, huachash is I cut it. But if you say, I was cutting this, cutting that, it's like a knife class. Well, I guess the new Halloween movie just came out, so huachash would be I was cutting, right? But yeah, it's not cutting people, so it's not for that.
What if you were cut in class? No.
Shame. So to sort of think about the k as well, and we know it goes on to verbs, but it can take these suffixes and create like these special meanings, which kind of gives us a little bit more to chew on what this k really is. This is the one from kudziti and kuwake and yakudzage, things like that. And then we know these suffixes, right? So nach is through or along, dach is from, de is towards, and then t is to arrive at that thing. So when we put these things together, we get chunach, which means really, or very, like chunach, it was really good. Or we get chudach, or chut. That means it was too much. So when it comes from ch, it's too much. I don't know what. Chude. That means to oblivion. There's only a couple places like chudikdagud would be the sun eclipsed. And so that's one, so that's how we would talk about the eclipse, is that it walked into nothingness. And then chut is to be lost. So it's an interesting thing, like what does the ch mean? And so by looking at that stuff, we just sort of, it gives us some hints, it reveals some things. You okay? Any questions? Thoughts? We only got a couple minutes left. So.
That's great.
Okay. And so we'll just, every now and then it's good to just sort of continue to look at this stuff, and then we'll go in. And then as you're putting this stuff together, so like manufacturing language, you're not always thinking about that, but then sometimes you are. Oblivion means like to nothingness, like poof, gone. So I don't know, the only place I've ever seen, it's in Jeff's notes, but then chudikdagud would be like for something to be eclipsed, like for the sun or the moon to be eclipsed. And then, so the domain homework, and so it doesn't have to be finished, but you should have a significant amount to share on November, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So today, so next week we got 29th and 31st and 5th, so let's say November 7th, the after the elections. It's gotta be said. Speaking of to oblivion, I'm just kidding. Let's stay positive. So November 7th, and you've got ask me questions. I would prefer, I'll try to respond through email, but bring your questions here because other folks might have the same questions. So our class time is also a work time. It's time to sort of work on projects together, and we'll keep doing these translation things. I'll share the Elam files with you so you guys get stuff to work on. We'll keep doing this, and so we'll go back to the conjugation party, where we just sort of look at how do we start putting this stuff to use with some examples of verbs, because my goal is to just get us to really understand how the prefix works, how stem variation works, and then you just go and gobble up verbs.
Do you have some kind of form, not like computer file format, but some format you want these domain sheets in? Do you want sample sentences? Do you want a vocab list at the back? Do you want photos in there? How do you want it?
That's a good question. I would say let's just brainstorm and come up with an idea. And then I'll probably come up with a template. That way we've got some stuff that's easy to either move into something else or to just sort of be ready to go. If you're looking for pictures of things, feel free to ask me, because I bought this stock photography thing so I can get good pictures of lots of stuff, maybe not everything. They don't really have gumboots. But they've got lots of other stuff. And so if you're looking for some picture of something, or even an illustration, they have those too. I can get it, I can send it to you, because we're collaborating, and you could publish it, you could do all kinds of stuff with it, because you own the rights to it, at least we do. So, okay. There's cheese.
Conrad, I would come on the hike, but